of kids of color, feel as though we don't learn a lot about ourselves. A lot of the stuff we learn is based off of white Caucasian people, and I think that we should have a change in our curriculum, add more stuff about people of color, their culture, more stuff about race, because not a lot of people know a lot of the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality, which I think most people get confused on. So teaching that throughout all public school curriculums can be effective to all students and make children of color feel included and special in school.
To have a voice in designing lessons means a lot. I get to bring the class to my perspective as a Black female student, to teach what actually goes on in a world that's not just white, and to make people and students aware of what's not told.
I originally came into Ms. Charmella's class and I thought that it wouldn't be really worth anything and that it would just be a group kind of complaining session about the racial issues in my community. But after actually participating in the class and learning and seeing what all the definitions were, I kind of got a better understanding for what racism actually is. And I now know that I was ignorant towards all these issues and that reverse racism doesn't actually exist, and I'm an active leader in solving the actual issue.
Please make sure you're giving the speaker your attention.
Okay.
Who you are, who your teammates are, and the winning tweet.
Black history is important because it affects everyone in some way. It helps us bring up problems involving racism, stereotypes, and prejudice.
Okay, gentlemen, did you hear that whole thing?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
What did she say?
Exactly. Could you please read it one more time?
History.
Involving racism and prejudice and things like that.
Go ahead, let her read.
Black history is important because it affects everyone in some way. It helps us bring up problems involving racism, stereotypes, and prejudice.
Who wrote that?
Chloe, she's such a speaker.
Wow, ladies, lovely. Okay, okay. When we point, you'll have to stand back up. Okay, Anissa. Okay, wait a second. Can you be an advocate if you are not listening? You cannot. Okay, go ahead, sweetie.
I'm Anissa, this is Sleepy Naya, and I said Black history is important because it gives credit or acknowledgement to African Americans and shows that everyone is equal.
Oh, that's a great one too. Good choices over there. Okay.
I'm Michaela, that's Sophie, that's Jada, and I said hashtag Black history is important because we have to learn about the past in order to change the future.
That is really good.
Wait, what did she say?
Really? Go ahead. All right, stand up one more time.
We said hashtag Black history is important because we have to learn about the past in order to change the future.
Go ahead, Sophia.
This is Lana's, by the way. So that's Lana, that's Nicole, that's Brooklyn.
Oh my god.
And we said hashtag Black history is important because it celebrates life-changing events leading to integration.
Black history is important because you need to recognize the struggles and obstacles they will and have faced.
Wait, what?
They will and have faced.
Yeah.
Oh.
We recognize how they were hurt.
Let me see it. Alright. We recognize how they were part of the foundation of history and we can study how they did throughout.
Okay.
Okay, and Black history is important because it is necessary to recognize African Americans and the struggle they had to endure to get to where they are now.
All right, hold on. Let's let them go.
And Black history is important because people need to understand how far they have come and how much more they need to do.
I like the third one.
Yeah. So I'm JL, this is Jaylyn, that's Dijon, and the chosen tweet is Jaylyn. It says, public schools should stop allowing students to humiliate other students and teachers of color.
Beautiful. Not the situation, but the tweet. Good. All right, have a seat. It rotates to the right, so technically it comes to you, Leona.
Hey, this is Bobby and Leona, Hannah and Tori. I forgot. We used Tori's tweet, and it's public schools should teach kids to love themselves.
Oh, I might cry. Okay, that was awesome. Yeah, I like that too. Okay.
Kylie, this is Sophia.
Ariana.
And Teo. And we did Taro's tweet, and hers is public schools should stop being sexist, be diverse, and to become equal. Like if one student got into a fight, like if a black student got into a fight with a white student, then the black student would like get suspended for like a week, and the white student would get suspended for about 2 days.
All right, I'm going to ask something of your team. If someone read the tweet just as it is, would they understand what you meant? What you just explained?
The tweet isn't like fully, I mean,
So you're thinking that tweet,
part of it's down there.
you have to develop it a little more?
And my reaction was that I felt bad because why was somebody do that to me? And what I think I did that part wrong, but if what probably went through that person's head was I don't believe in that, so it's probably wrong.
Okay.
And so it was all I would probably tell her to calm down and probably try to talk it out unless she doesn't want to compromise on it.
Okay, good. You even use the word. Good for you. Go ahead.
Her students at her school were disrespecting the poster that says, what did it say? I love my blackness because, and there were bad things on the poster. So I felt annoyed.
Out. Good. Go ahead. He danced out of the room. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
They probably did it because they don't take it seriously. They weren't taught that that's serious.
Okay.
And with resolve, I said people should take things serious when other people could be offended.
Anybody have any other questions for that group? So for the religion section. All right. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. So they're going to go next and we'll come to you. Go ahead.
So we had fairness, and you can't discriminate because of ethnicity, race, gender, or the language you speak. LGBTQ students are protected from discrimination and harassment. Schools can choose if you need special ed classes. School officials have no obligation to follow up on complaints about bullying and sexual harassment to students and by students is against the law.
What was that second to the last one?
That was.
You said school officials have no obligation to follow up on complaints about bullying.
Is that really what it said?
So
Interesting.
you don't have
So,
to do
like-
anything about it.
Okay, so you can call on people. Raise your hand so she can address your questions.
But so you said the police can't, like, the school police can't say anything about bullying, but the he was the.
Well, I think it's like teachers and like principals.
So they don't
So
have to
they're
like,
officials. They
if
don't
I'm
have-
bullying Daniel, like I don't have to say, that's Daniel from now on.
Okay, we'll make him Daniel. Hypothetical Daniel.
He's Daniel.
Okay. Any other questions?
What was like LG?
Oh, it's lesbian, gay, some bisexual,
Lesbian,
transgender, questions.
Wait, what was their thing about them?
Their students are protected from discrimination and harassment.
Well, what's like, why are they specific?
Well, cause like if you like
Hey, please
say
let
like
her
if you
speak.
like say like I don't want to like talk to this person or won't sit next to this person because they're an LGBTQ student, then that's not cool.
Okay. So go ahead.
But what about regular students? You're allowed to discriminate against anybody?
Well, it says you can't discriminate because of ethnicity, race, gender, or the language you speak.
So
Okay.
basically,
Do you guys have there's something that you learned that you think everybody else should know?
They wouldn't have built the season.
Oh no. I'm afraid. Okay. We're gonna listen to them for a second. Ladies, gentlemen, go ahead, Terrell.
One of the things school officials cannot punish you by refusing you to refusing to give you a diploma along with your grade or anything. But like I think teachers that don't like you and like you're always being yelled at, still think they'll lower your grade when
talk openly, and I want you to remember, you are allowed to think out loud. So if, let's say, you have something to say and you don't exactly know how to form it, you can say that. You can say, I need to talk out loud so I can help myself put this into words. Go ahead.
So, reverse racism is basically like racism against white people. So does racism against white people exist in America?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so that is the definition of racism. I think that racism sometimes gets tied in with stereotypes, and I think that, like, white people, any race can get tied in with a stereotype, but racism is a whole different thing, and I don't think that white people can get tied in with racism because they're the majority. That's just my opinion.
Go, Laura. Go ahead.
I agree with Laura. I think that this definition, reverse racism, can't exist. If this was a different definition and it was talking about stereotypes, then sure, it could exist.
Yeah. So I'm going to come to the two other people that have their hand raised, but you're 100% right. In a scholarly based conversation, you have to first come to an agreement about the definition. So this is the scholarly definition, which means we start from there. All right. I think we'll go 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
To me, I don't think reverse racism is a thing. I think like some white people just made it up so they could downplay like regular racism against black people.
Okay.
Not black people, but other people.
Okay.
I say reverse racism is not a thing because like regular racism is like kind of like a social, like it's a whole general thing, like it's used to benefit a certain people.
Yeah.
So if it's like reverse racism, it couldn't happen because those certain people still get those benefits. So like it's not an actual thing.
I agree. I think you guys know a lot more than you think you know. Okay, I'm gonna go Julia, then I'm going here and here.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that we get to like go over the technical definitions because I honestly before would have been like, yeah, reverse racism is a thing, but now like knowing, like actually like knowing for real, like it's not, because we know that we are like the white people definitely are the majority, and then knowing like everything, like knowing the facts and knowing actually what's going on, it's totally not, and like I'm just like glad.
You're gonna make me cry. Okay, good. So part of the job of this class is being done. Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
When the Black Lives Matter movement came, like it was like making people aware of the racism like in the U.S. Then like somebody made all lives matter, like all lives do matter, but like they try to draw the attention away from us.
So basically, like if someone, non-white person, called somebody like a white person, cracker, mayonnaise boy, something like that. It's not. Oh my God. And then someone commented like, "Oh, you're a mayonnaise boy," and the white person got offended and was like, "Oh, that's racist," but like that's really not racist because reverse racism doesn't.
It's just
exist.
rude.
That's what it comes down to.
That's like discriminatory.
It is a discriminatory action.
It's technically not racist, but it's definitely discriminatory.
Yeah, it's a stereotype.
Get out.
Right? Okay, we're going to Laura. We're going to try to stay, and then once it goes to you, we're going back to Grace. Go
I
ahead.
got two things to say.
Shut up, y'all. The first thing I was gonna say is you said something a while ago about how reverse racism was kind of made up to downplay it, and I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just racism is just a very controversial topic, and I don't really think that anyone feels comfortable talking about it and going over the technicals like we're doing now. And my other thing was somebody said something about introducing All Lives Matter. And okay, I don't know if everyone's gonna agree with it, but I think that white people did introduce this because they tend to do that a lot because they're not a part of that community and they can't relate to it, and because of that they don't understand it, so they're trying to kind of fit into that, and like it's just difficult. They're the majority and they're not used to that.
Yeah. So what Corey just said, fighting to maintain the majority position is part of that. People are fearful that if they equalize the playing field, they might lose something that they have already. And so sometimes that is what causes this kind of racial divide, or people to not be willing to have these conversations. Okay, so it goes boom, boom. Go ahead.
What happened? Going back to what Paul said, a lot of people like try to play off as like calling somebody a cracker is like just the same as calling like a black person the N-word or like any of them. But like they're not the same at all. Like each one of them, like a lot of the words that white people use like back in slavery terms were like to call people those things, but the thing is that white people were called crackers because of like the sound that the whip made whenever they like cracked each slave. Therefore, then that's not valid to get offended over just as much as calling somebody like one of those.
So let me take a step back and talk about the language. So everything you said is absolutely on point. But when you say someone doesn't have the right to be offended, that's the only time. So no, I know what you mean. But to be clear, you never have the right to say what someone else's emotion is. However, you obviously can speculate. You can sit there and think about it, and you're probably 100% right. However, just be careful with that language, because to move forward so that people trust you enough to listen to what you have to say and to actually contemplate whether or not you're right, if you don't isolate them, they're more likely to think through these serious issues. So it's really hard. As a teacher, like, you come in with certain feelings, certain things you don't understand, and if you don't watch your language, you could really cause somebody to never engage in conversations they really need to make them better. Okay? So it's going back to Laura and then to you.
Okay, so going back to what I was saying earlier, I think you brought up the topic of the N-word, and there's a huge controversy, obviously everyone knows, about whether or not white people should use it, and I think that it just goes back to they want to be a part of this community that they don't understand. But I think that that's, I don't think that that's a reason for them to be able to use it, because it's such a terrible term because of how it was used back in history. So that's all. Also,
Yes? Did you want to add something?
Yeah. I mean, about the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, it's like, it's a community, but other, like, people of other races should also be involved too, right? I mean, it shouldn't just be, people who are black. It should be, like, more than
I agree. So I think Grace, we're gonna let Grace go, and then Grace, you two can start calling on other people. Go ahead.
Okay, so about the all lives matter thing, I feel like what
Lloyd, be quiet.
What? Was somebody, I don't know who said it, but they said that white people had made all lives matter because they wanted to be included. But like with the all lives matter thing, it's true, but like all lives aren't. What's forever?
Always.
Forever, always. All lives aren't like, yeah, all lives aren't like endangered. Not in danger, but like.
You just shut up.
They need to solve this whole.
Okay, Grace and Aja, you can help continue the conversation, be fair and calling on people. I think Tilly's arm might fall off after Grace.
Okay, well, All Lives Matter was like made so that people could like take the attention away from another group of people and to like take the blame kind of off of themselves and make it seem like not so serious. Like basically a downplay of racism.
Oh,
So
it's Aja and everybody else.
so yeah.
Okay. Alright. So I think like when people say black minds matter, like it doesn't mean that white minds don't matter. Like just because you're saying, I feel like as like because like white people will never like it's just impossible for them to know what like black minds matter is because they just can't because it's like impossible. Like not like because they just they'll never know what it is. So I feel like I don't know like now that I know the definition, it's a lot different. Like because like I was confused by the all lives matter thing, but like now I'm like okay yeah I just never mind.
Tilly, what you have to say is valuable.
Okay.
And we know you're a nice person. You can talk it out.
know, I'm fine. It's K.
Okay. Anybody want to respond? Have something to add? Some way to validate what she has to say so she doesn't feel isolated. Either of you, go ahead. And then you can go.
I just had a question. Like, whenever we're talking in a conversation about, like, white people think, like, this is, like, not to be, like, mean, but who are the white people that we're talking about? Because, like, I know that I think certain things, but, no, I don't know.
Hold on, let her explain.
Like, it's truly, like, I just don't understand, because I'm white, and I don't think all the things that they're saying that these people, I don't want to, like, not that I don't want to be included, but, like, I don't feel this way, so, like, who are the white people that we're talking about?
Okay. So,
White racists.
hold on. Well, let's see without attacking that question, because if someone is asking you for help in understanding something and you jump on them, you're not making things any better. You might be making them worse. Let people ask their questions and let's see what we can do about it. Grace, then Julia, then we're going back to Corey.
It's actually so that, like, they just say a whole group of people so that there can't be people who the description does fit saying, like, oh, that's not me. So you can't just be like some white people, because then, like, all the white people will be like, oh, no, that's not me. So they just go for the whole group, where so that the people who truly, like, it's like truly, like, that's not them, they can go away quietly. But, like, if it's like some of them, they'll be like, everybody's just like, no, that's not me, and then, like, it gives them the right to kind of, like, take the blame off of themselves.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And that it just like, because you say like all, so you have to put it in the group of all white people are like this. But then if you say all black people are this, then you got like it's like that, and then just like makes the white people feel like so terrible because it makes
Okay.
them feel like, oh,
So I think,
that stuff.
Julia, are you saying kind of like what I said about using all and every as a descriptor?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, in order to have these kinds of conversations where it's okay if you make another person feel uncomfortable. It is absolutely okay. However, it should only be because your intention is to learn and to grow. So, some of you are absolutely right. When we use terms like all and every, we're building stereotypes by
People are so uneducated about racial injustices. Not only kids, but adults. Learning about those things and raising awareness will allow change in the world. When it isn't taught, no one knows, and there's no change. So I propose this. Add racially and culturally diverse lessons and curriculums around schools. Then there will be a change.